Alright, hello Star Wars CCG players and welcome. I, of course, am Bill Kafer here, aka Taco Bill, getting ready to stream some of this Champions League coverage on the final day here, final couple hours here. We've got one game going on in progress. We're expecting to do one more game between these two players, and then two more games between two other players as well. So, flurry of activity here on the final day. I think more Champions League games have been played in the last 48 hours than were in the entire 3 weeks before that. So we're jumping right in here. I'd like to see somebody let me know that they can hear me. I don't see anybody in the chat yet, so we'll wait a minute here before we start getting into this game here, seeing what's going on. Oh, excellent. There are 5 viewers. Look at you guys. All right. So in this game, we've got Charlie Arlinson, aka GoldenGod, playing as John McFarlane, the pernmfalcn here. This is Pod C action. These are the last two players to have games left in Pod C. Both of them have 2 wins currently, so if either of them wins both games, they're going to clinch themselves a spot, most likely, in the top 8 here, either by winning the group over Connor Britton or by taking an at-large spot from currently Anthony Howard. So we've got Charlie here on map. I know he's played it at least once earlier today against Greg Shaw. I think he won that game by 12, if I remember correctly. Won that game. He either won that game by 12 or lost that game by 12. So Greg says, yeah, he won that game by 12. And then we got John McFarlane here on Anakin Family. He will affectionately tell you that he loves playing the Your Mother deck. I know he was playing this back at the start of the calendar year at the MPC, running it off of TAT CRV. So he's a big fan of this deck. We're jumping in here, obviously, middle of the game. This is turn 6 for the light side. We get a battle here. So we're going to jump right into some action. So we've got what? We got Master Luke, we got General Kenobi with Qui-Gon Saber, and we got Captain Hera against 2 FN Troopers, Captain Phasma, General Pride, and Dengar with Gun. So pretty big battle here. This first swing is going to be canceled by FN 2199. Second swing is going to hit Dengar. And Dengar is going to get messed here. John losing a force. I apologize. I'm going to be slightly distracted for the first 5 or 10 minutes of this because I just kind of decided to jump on. Answering wife, letting her know I'm streaming, answering some other Slack messages and such. But there goes Dengar. Dengar's going to go lost. Also, I know Dan and Jared are planning on playing their 2 games in the next couple of minutes. If that pops up, can somebody let me know so I can add that? We'll double box. And it'll be great. We'll be completely distracted while double boxing. Just looking over the board state here, I would say this is a fairly even matchup. Looking at the board state, I think Charlie's inclusion of the Starkiller base sites here is interesting. It's not something we've seen in a couple iterations of the deck. They've been more focused on the Emperor at Exegol with the Dead Speak. But with the changes in V20 to the Emperor, you can't play him anymore in map. We might see map come out like this again. What do we got going on here? We got FN 2199 firing at Master Luke, but that's going to get blaster deflectioned. It'll be interesting to see if he pops 2003 here to cancel game text. So maybe you cancel Hera's game. Well, I guess you don't really have to cancel Hera's game text. I was going to say you cancel Hare's game text so he doesn't draw more than one Destiny, but it doesn't look like he is. In fact, yeah, he's not. So the extra Destiny coming from Phasma is going to get limited here by Sand. Alright, so that was done. John had to use or lose a force to draw Destiny because he was in battle against a First Order leader. Phasma's a leader, Pride is a leader, so double leaders there. Using one force, draws a 1. Can't cancel and redraw that with his own epic event because of Sand, so that's unfortunate. Charlie draws a 5. So he's going to win that battle 17-16. So 1 attrition here for Charlie. This was not Charlie's battle. Oh, Charlie's total battle destiny is going to be 0 because of Master Luke. Charlie doesn't have a character of ability greater than 3. He's just got Pride there with ability 3. So no loss for John. Charlie's going to lose Pride. And that was John's battle. So Life Force counts if you're not watching on GIMP itself. Life Force, we got John with 14 in Life Force, 8 in hand. Charlie with, I can't math, 17 in Life Force, 7 in hand. So slightly favoring Charlie here. About to be Charlie's turn, obviously, but this is the end of John's turn, so that makes sense. An even number of turns here. Looks like Charlie on his turn. Things that John can't do much about. Charlie's going to be able to drain for 2 at the Starkiller base with Steadfast there. Charlie's going to drain for 3 here. 3 at Hosnian Prime. The +1 coming from the Finalizer. And then a drain of 1 at the Jakku site with the extra drain +1 from the Saber. Alright, it does look like they fired up that second Champions League game, so we're going to go to the double box here. Let's put Charlie and John on the left. We'll bring in Jared and Dan on the right. I'm sure there's a way to snap these to make them even, but I'm computer illiterate sometimes. pernmfalcn is John McDonald. He's a Norfolk player in Virginia. He got in via the Yavin 4 League. He actually finished second in the league to Brad Kipple, who won it both years. And so we decided to put in the second place player in that one. Drag one window into the side of the monitor. And then, what do I do with the other one? The other one just goes to the other. I have two monitors, so when I drag, it goes the other way. What did I say? I thought I said McFarland. I don't know if you're correcting me or just answering the questions in the chat now. Either one is equally likely here. All right, well, let's see here. We finished John's turn. We got Charlie activating on the left. Is going to drain for 2 a Starkiller base. On the right side, we're just starting up. We've got, as Kewell says in the chat, John McDonald. Oh, that makes sense. I would say that. John McFarland. Great guy. One of the team names that I can't say on stream. So on the right side, we've got Dan Tartaglione playing Agents of the Black Sun. Jared Konsker playing Old Allies. Looks like pretty standard starts for both. The Old Allies is starting Walkling, Strike Planning, and Brave Resistance. The Black Sun is starting Quietly Observing Shadows and Wipe Them Out. We have not seen who he picked for Quietly Observing yet. But on Dan's first turn here, he's got an Emperor for free to the square, I guess for 2. He's got the Vigo. Did not find Zizor's Palace. And he's got Zizor there, obviously. On the left side, we had some drains here. So drain for 2 is Starkiller base. John's going to lose Blaster Deflection and Jedi Levitation. Deflection from Force Pile. Jedi Levitation from hand. Going to drain for 3 at Hosnian Prime, but John did pull Ultimatum, so it's going to be a drain of 2. Going to lose another... Oh, nope. Going to lose a Leadership from Reserve deck. And Ahsoka Tano from Reserve deck. Ahsoka Tano with Lightsaber from Reserve deck. Chris, good to see you in the chat. Glad you're poking around a little bit. That's actually my target demographic, is those running out the clock at work. I had off today, so I was at the bar prior to this. So, cheers. All right, on the right side, we got Jared taking his first turn. Strike planning to pull General Leia. I don't know if he's strike planning to pull that General Calrissian. I wonder if they're... I can go look here. Oh, I can tell you that Quietly Observing picked Mara Jade with Lightsaber and Mithra Naruto, so the Alien Thrawn here. Leadership pulled a Radis for Jared. I don't see another strike planning. So strike planning just pulled General Leia, did not pull General Calrissian. The site obviously pulling Rey here. Pretty standard turn 1 for Old Allies on the right side here. On the left side, Charlie is going to drain for another 1 that we missed. That's going to make John lose Leia's Resistance Transport. Is now stacking and accelerate from Lost Pile on I Will Finish What You Started. On the right side, looks like Leia was put back to grab Lor Santeca. Radis comes down to the Falcon. We saw him pull that with the Rebel leadership early. Radis is going to pull a Corvette as well. On the left side, looks like Charlie's going to move some people using Lana Dobreed. So we've got Kylo Ren, Snoke, and Mara Jade going over to the Starkiller base. I forget what that site's called. Is it the Forest? Starkiller base Forest, yes. It does pay, but then that gets sensed. So sense will cancel that. Charlie pulling a there is no tri-shield in response. On the right side, we see that we have turned the Falcon into a vehicle and left it at the Nima Outpost shipyard, right? So that's got Rey and General Calrissian and also Admiral Raddus. On the left side, we see Charlie moving the 3 troopers away from the forest into the control room. On the right side, Dan taking his turn, only activating 9 Force because he didn't find Zizer's Palace turn 1. Does find it now. I don't like the beer that I picked. That's unfortunate. On the left side, Charlie drawing looks like about 5 cards, playing an Accelerate to put it back. And ending his turn. Right side, Dan not really doing too much. Does pull Zizer's Palace with Vigo, as we said. Pulls the sewer as well, I believe. Moves Emperor, Vigo, and Zizor over. That does not flip him because Rey is at a battleground site. And then Dan drawing 5 cards as well. Alright, we're starting both light side turns here. Jared on the right activating 11, draining for 1. Neither player has pulled battle order or battle plan yet. Both kind of waiting for the other here. Does drain for 1, Dan loses an Emperor from hand. Dan loses an Emperor from hand. On the left side, John activates 9 total. That is all of his force. He's going to trade for 2 at the forest. Charlie losing a command. And blast door controls. Both players pretty even right now. John with 11 life force, 10 in force pile, 1 in use pile, and 6 in hand. Charlie with 8, 12 life force, 8 in reserve deck, 4 in force pile, and 9 in hand. John draining for 1 more here at Polis Massa. Charlie losing Masterful Move. That still feels like a pretty even game here, right? Charlie has the Steadfast, draining for 2. He's got Finalizer, draining for 3. He's got a pretty good hold on the Jakku site. So, like, at worst, he's doing, 5 damage. And it's just a matter of, is John going to be able to beat down on the 3 troopers? While John is doing 3 damage, does deploy General Leia here to flip Charlie back. So, General Leia, the resistance agent for John. That doesn't do a whole lot unless he's got retrieval to do. He does put Walkling out of play right now to get an extra 1 back. Did get back, what does he got? Leia's resistance transport, so not a super useful card, but not unuseful. Down comes Padme to the control center, control room. Shield control. Padme's going to get barriered, but I think that's fine. I don't think John was battling this turn anyway, with no life or no cards in reserve deck. On the right side, it looks like we've had just, you know, standard old allies, Black Sun things going on. So Rey drew a card, Palpatine took a Force Lightning, Fanfare took Sizor's Bounty into hand. We got a couple sites deployed. General Leia went back to get Poe Dameron. Can I help you? Lor San Tekka is going to come down to the Outpost Shipyard and draw a card. Rose also going to come down. Rose, a changed card now from V20, does not retrieve a force anymore, but does protect some of your characters from getting hit. Come here. Yeah, your penalty is to be on camera. I did not forget to feed the cat. I definitely fed the cat. Yeah. Hello. Can you say hello? No, that's me. Stop that. Say hello. Okay. Great job. Cat. And then looks like everybody got out of the Falcon in the Old Allies game here for Jared. On the left side here, Charlie activated 6 force of his total, saving 3. He's going to drain for 2 at Starkiller base. John losing an Anakin and Odin. Yes. Going to drain for 2 at Hosni and Prime. John losing another Anakin and an all-wings combo. And going to drain for 1 finally at the Jakku site, the village. And John losing Hoojix from hand. That's an interesting loss. I guess he's pretty safe everywhere. On the right side, we see that Dan has come down with Faline's Fist. After declining to drain, Jared pulled Battle Plan. He's going to cycle his Force Lightning. On the left side here, we see that Charlie has added a First Order Stormtrooper to the stack of Stormtroopers, and also Lieutenant Mitaka to the Tuana Village. I mean, if he's got, like... So obviously, we're talking about a different build of map than we've seen in the last couple of years with the Emperor, right? So maybe he's looking at, like, a Trooper Assault type beatdown here. He could definitely battle, play Trooper Assault, use FN so that Anakin can't fire weapons, and try to overpower, because he would be 19-13 against John. I think at this point you just want to hold on and just block a drain, really. So maybe you don't even do that offensively, you just do that defensively. Down comes P-59, who gets barriered. So it's definitely defensively now. Looks like Dan just kind of drew a couple cards and ended his turn. Charlie now trying to Ellis after failing to Lana. So we're going to Ellis. What are we Ellising? The 4 characters at the village to the forest for 1 force, and it does go through this time. So Kylo, Snoke, Mara, and Dopeld go to the forest, and yeah, he's just blocking those drains now. So John's damage output has dropped to 1, and that's that drain at Polis Massa here. So they're kind of even, but they're not quite even, right? Because Charlie's got 11 in life force, John's got 10, but Charlie's got 6 in hand, and pretty good board control versus John, who has 1 in hand and just control of 1 location. So he might have to force some action here. On the right side, we see during Jared's turn, Jared has activated a whole bunch. Spent a couple force to put down Twano Villager, to put down a Corvette to the system that he pulled with Radis. That's going to flip him. He's got Poe Dameron going on to the Corvette, so that should hold space for him. Okay. Okay. Down comes Hobby Clivian. It's an interesting inclusion in the Old Allies deck. Alright, that's enough. You cut that out. So it looks like Radis is going to pop on to the Falcon. So that's Radis and General Calrissian on the Falcon. That turns into a ship and flies up. So Radis, Calrissian on the Falcon, Poe on the Corvette. Sets him up for Drain 2. On the ground, you still have Rey, Lor Santeca, Rose, a Villager, and Hobby. That also sets him up for a Drain of 1. On the left side, we see also Poe Dameron coming down to the Starkiller base. Probably just for forfeit here if he's going to try to battle. He does battle, so battling into the 4 Stormtroopers and P-59 is going to retrieve 2 Forcer battling with General Leia. There's that trooper slot we were thinking about, so that's going to make all those troopers immune to attrition. Alright, come on. You're being ridiculous. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Okay. So currently 23 power for Charlie, 16 power for John. Oh, I forgot to move things around once we switch to a double box here. Anakin Saber here, going to fire at Captain Phasma. That 6 will get canceled by 2199. There you go. Good job. And then a 1 will not hit Phasma. Chris, this is what happens when you step away for a year. All kinds of people do all kinds of crazy things playing Star Wars cards, including Dan winning a league. P-59 firing at Padme, draws a 4, does hit. So John's going to have to lose 2 cards. Loses that Kenobi that he just drew, and the most impressive that he just drew. John's going to use his second sand action to take a card into hand. Charlie's going to play a Dark Time for the Rebellion and Tarkin's Orders to add 3 to total power, which says if you have 2 battlegrounds on table and opponent does not, for the remainder of turn, your total power in battles is +1 for each opponent's non-battleground location on table. I learned something today. John draws a 4. So Charlie's going to win this battle. Draws a 4 also. So it's going to be 30 to 20. So John's going to end up losing Padme and 3 Force, or perhaps Poe. On the right side, Dan deployed U-3PO to the Nemo Outpost Shipyard to block that drain. Moves Sizor over to the sewer and the Vigo up to space, so he's satisfying 3 battlegrounds now. Let's see if he did the thing after that. I don't think he shadows pinged after that. I think he shadows pinged earlier, or tried to shadows ping earlier. Because he doesn't need to be flipped for shadows ping, right? That just needs to be Emperor on Coruscant. Yeah. So should have shadows pinged if there was a force available. I didn't see it happen. On Jared's turn here, he's activating 15. Got to drain for 2 at the system. Dan gonna lose blast door controls and an Emperor. Tries to deploy a Jack location but can't. On the left side, we see that John did lose both Padme and Poe Dameron, while Charlie lost P-59. Dan telling me the Destinies in Jared's reserve deck: 3, 4, 1, 4, 3, 5, BB-8, 4, and 2. I don't know that I see Jared battling anywhere this turn. I feel like Old Allies is not necessarily the most offensive deck possible. I mean, it's offensive, but like, it's not offensive. Can't really go fight Sizor or Emperor, especially with the threat of Bounty and 15 Force active for Dan. Down comes Wise Advice. On the left side, we move to Charlie's turn. Charlie activated 7 Force. He's going to drain it for 2 at Starkiller Base. John losing, now this is Pod Racing, and all wings report in. Drain for 3 at Hosnian Prime. John losing Hujix and Rebel Barrier. Down comes First Strike, so he will be battling. On the right side, we see that I'm going to eat my words almost immediately. Here comes... Who is this? This is Cara Dune with Heavy Rifle. Coming down to Sizor's site, who gets bountied. Does the Rose change limit how much Old Allies can just turtle up now? I think so, but also at the same time, like, 1 Force Retrieval is not the end of the world. You can still turtle up and play your projections and play your It's a Hits and all kinds of things. You probably play 1 Rose now as opposed to 2. This is all my opinion, I don't know. I don't play a lot of Old Allies. I'm not the best person to ask about that. On the left side, we have a battle at the forest where Kylo Ren has swung at Leia. So, happy Mother's Day. Taking out his mom. Both players losing a force. John losing Leia's resistance transport. Charlie losing a barrier. On the right side, we see Saw Gerrera come down. General Kraken come down, who we just pulled with a Rebel leadership. We see Mara Jade firing at General Kenobi. Draws a 4 and a 4, so that's going to hit General Kenobi. On the right side, down comes Hera to join the party, but she gets barriered. On the left side, Charlie draws a 5 for Battle Destiny, so he's going to be 24 total power. John is going to get 2 Battle Destiny here. Draws a 5. And a 3. So he's going to be at 27 total power. So he's going to win the battle. Going to cause 2 force loss via Kylo. So not what Charlie had in mind there. I mean, he's still going to clear 3 characters, so probably pretty good. Right side, Jared, having had 2 characters effectively barriered, is going to end his turn. Pass turn to Dan, who gets a whole bunch of force this turn. So Charlie has 8 attrition to satisfy. He's going to lose Snoke. John has to satisfy 5 attrition plus 2 characters who are forfeit 0. So he's going to have to lose Leia, Kenobi, and probably Hera. Yeah, there goes Leia, Kenobi, Hera. On the right side, Dan activated 9 force, so he's only getting... I guess he's saving some force for stuff here. He's going to drain for 1, and Shadows ping, and Jared lost a Villager and an Anakin. On the left side, we see that Charlie's going to battle again, so this time the troopers into Anakin and Yoda. First strike will cause another ping there. Looks like just Battle Destiny for both players. Charlie drawing 9 total Battle Destiny. What is Anakin's forfeit? And John drawing a 5. So 20 to 18 here. Phasma's going to retrieve a trooper if available. 8 attrition is going to break Anakin's immunity, so he's going to have to go. And 2 troopers are going to have to go. So 2003 went because he was hit via his own text, and then the generic Stormtrooper went also. Right side, we see Dan has taken a card with Force Push, taken a card with Tarkin's Bounty, has a Blast Door controls, comes down with Forlom, probably the first of several people. IG-88 with gun. On the left side, Charlie finishes his turn, has 15 in Life Force, 1 card in hand, to John's 4 in Life Force. John's going to activate all 4. He's going to drain for 1. I may just see him draw up here just because it is a diff tournament. Ray's going to draw a card, see what's going on there. On the right side, who else we got? We got Forlom, we've got Ig, we got Django, and we got Dengar. And we got a battle. We had a Keep Your Eyes Open played, which is now in the process of being sensed, so it's going to get sensed. Yeah, it looks like John is just passing through his phases here to the battle phase. And eventually probably the draw phase. Nope. Alright, we're going to go out in a blaze here. I guess that does cause one more force loss. So you battle with Luke into Mara, Kylo, and Dopeld. You get to retrieve a force, but it doesn't matter. You make Charlie lose a force. Luke probably going to get hit, forfeit 0, and then you just peel the rest of your cards. Alright, so Keep Your Eyes Open was played and lost. Oh, okay. Keep Your Eyes Open was played and sensed, and then Keep Your Eyes Open was played again. So no weapons in this battle on the right side. Rebel Leadership was also played because General Kraken is here, so only one Destiny for Dan in this battle. Dan draws a 2, which is not great. And Jared draws a 3 and a 4. He gets an extra 1 from Hera. So Dan is going to have to satisfy 12 attrition here. That's 7 total plus 5 characters, so 12 attrition, which is kind of rough. On the left side, we saw that Charlie won that game by 15. Attrition here for Dan, loses Zizor and probably Jango Fett. Oh, loses Zizor. Jared lost Hera, and Dan's going to play Imbalance to get Zizor back. And then loses the Jango Fett. So Charlie now at 6 plus 2. John dropping to 4 minus 19. We can submit that and save that. We can drop off of this one. We can pull up another GIMP window. That's not what I wanted. Alright, so Dan ended his turn there. Does move the Emperor away. I don't know if he's worried about somebody coming down and beating up the Emperor. Cara Dune's going to play a Disarmed on Dengar with Gun. Cara Dune also going to play Disarmed on Ig with Gun. So I now understand why the hobby is in the deck. And they're starting up immediately. Alright, so we've got our game going on the right side. Looks like Jared drained for 2 with Jakku. Dan lost R. Singh with Gun and Emperor. And then drained for 1 on the ground after moving somebody with Lor San Tekka. Dan lost to Zam Wessel. On the left side, I think I don't know what's going on. Somebody said wrong one, so. Okay. On the left side, we've got Charlie playing Funeral Pyre and Let the Wookiee Win versus John playing Dark Deal. Starting Slipsliding Away for Imperial Arrest Order, Endor Shield, and what is this card called? You Cannot Hide Forever and Mobilization Points. Bill, I know it's Trooper Beats, and he knows it's Trooper Beats, but maybe the audience doesn't know it's Trooper Beats yet. Does sack the Cannot Hide Forever for security precautions, and then... Oh, yeah, because Dark Deal lets you start the IAO, so sacks it for security precautions. If you don't know the deck that John's playing, it's definitely a Trooper Beats version, so we'll see him, dance around a bit, try to do a Trooper Beats, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's a fun time. On the right side, looks like Jared deployed Fleet Admiral Akbar. Is going to shoot at Dengar with Kara and hits. Going to shoot again at Forlom this time. And does not hit this time. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, misses. Forlom's going to cancel Saw's text. John on the left side playing They Must Never Again Leave the City, which is suspended on turn 1, and then just drawing cards. Did he pull an Executor? Yeah, he pulled an Executor before he tossed Cannot Hide Forever. Looks like in this battle, Jared's going to draw a 3 for Destiny, so he's going to be 16 total power. Dan draws a 2, he's going to be 9 total power, but that's going to be subtracted, so he's going to be 7 total power. Jared won't have to lose anything. Dan, will have to lose Dengar and 1 other character. Dengar, of course, forfeit -3 from Cara Dune. Loses Dengar and Ig. Still 5 battle damage. So loses Forlom also. Still had to satisfy 2 battle damage and plays a Gik. On the left side, Charlie found 2 docking bays, had a Wisa for the Naboo chambers, and then draws a bunch of cards. On the right side, we're starting to split up a little bit here for Jared. Gonna set up with, I guess Dan has no force left, so he's going to move everybody over to the Tuano village. That way he's able to drain for 2 with the villager there. And U3PO does not have a force to follow. And then Jared going to draw a couple cards here. On the left side, John's about to start his turn. Activating 12. Deploys the Executor for 2 force, has Grand Admiral Thrawn for 4 force. On the right side, we see Chelly coming down to the 2/2 for free, and then Zizor coming down as backup, and then Probot coming down to raise encampment. And P-59 also coming down as backup to raise encampment. On the left side, just Thrawn and the Executor, and then using a point man to get any card he wants out of his force pile. Excuse me. And then using a force to move the Emperor back. Presumably he shadows Paint, right? He did shadows, but he did it prior to moving the Emperor, so he's not gonna do a ping. So Dan draws a couple cards. On the left side, Charlie activating 15 force. Deploying the Jedi Council Chamber from hand. Nope, playing a Speak from hand. And then playing the Jedi Council Chamber. trying to play Docking Bay and failing. On the right side, Jared activating 13 force. Is going to drain for 2 at the sewer. Dan losing a sense and a no escape. Drain for 2 at the system. Dan losing hidden weapons and cold feet. Ray is going to make a regular move to the 2-2. And draining 2 at the Tuano Village. Dan losing Utah Solo and Banis Keeg. Down comes Solo to the Starship Graveyard. On the left side, Charlie deployed Yoda with the Jedi Council Chamber, and then it's going to draw some cards. Projection comes down on the right side at the Ray's encampment, so that drain of 2 will be now a drain of 1. And then we'll battle at the Starship Graveyard. So power 8 there with Solo and Ray versus Zizor and Dr. Aphra. Jared drawing 2 Destiny. Dan drawing 1. Jared's going to draw 5. It's a disarmed. And a 4. So going to be 18 total after Ray's +1. Dan drawing a 3, which will be reduced to a 1. So going to be a 9 total there. Currently would cover. Yeah, going to be a 9 total there. Ray goes lost for Jared, so Black Sun will flip momentarily. And then Dan will have to lose both Zizor and Dr. Chelly. On the left side, John here, only activating 8, is going to pay 3 to drain for 1. Plays a force push. Interesting timing on that. On the right side, Solo goes up to the Corvette. So he's not just sitting there by himself. U3PO is going to move over. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Jared send everybody somewhere else. Solo goes to the Falcon. Radis goes to the Corvette. On the left side, Charlie activates 19. So we're into like meaningful games here, right? Because these are the last 3 games to be played for the Champions League. So Charlie right now sitting at 6+2. If he's able to win this game at all, he would momentarily step into the 8th spot, knocking out Anthony Howard. And if he's able to win this game by 33, not super likely, he can win the group as well. John also live in this game. He's sitting at 4-19 right now, but if he wins this game by 31, he would end up at 6+12, tied with Anthony. I'd have to figure out what the tiebreaker would be for something like that. He's got 29 right now, so I'm not super worried about it. But they're both live here. Charlie obviously in a better position. Connor Britton very likely to qualify, sitting at 8+35 right now. He has to worry about Jared running off 2 big wins against Dan, and Charlie winning this game by 33. So Connor's probably in. Chris Werf's probably in. And we'll see what happens with Jared and Charlie here. Alright, so on the right side, we've got Dan's turn here. He's going to try to drain for 1 at the encampment. That gets It's a Hit. He's going to play Zizor down to the 2-1. He's going to play Jabba's Space Cruiser to space. I did not see, I missed this. Jared moved the Falcon over to Coruscant. On the left side, Charlie had a whole mess of Force to work with, so he's deployed Luke Jedi Knight, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Leia to the 2-2. And then it moves Yoda to the Naboo battle planes. And then we'll draw some cards. Has 12 in hand already. He's going to draw more than that. Still has 6 Force active, so plenty of Force left. Dan did Shadow's Ping with 3 Battlegrounds this time, so it does cause a Force loss. Jared having to lose Rebel Leadership in hand. Probot's going to move over with Sizor. And pass his turn. So Dan's going to take over here. Excuse me, Jared's going to take over here on the right side. Activates 11. He's going to drain for 2. Nope, he's trying to retrieve. Did not find anything to retrieve. He's going to drain for... He's going to be able to drain for 2, 2, and 1, which is pretty good. Dan's sitting on about 11 cards, so... Charlie's still digging for something, throwing some cards away on the left side. Does play a free ride combo, which has been drastically changed. He's going to play it to suspend a million voices and entire legion for the remainder of turn. And that's going to get grabbed. On the right side, Jared draining for 2 at the sword, Dan losing Emperor and Ellis, draining for 1 at the system, Dan losing Ig, and Rose is going to move over and drain for 2 at the Starship Graveyard, Dan losing Imbalance and the other Zizor's Palace site. Down comes another Ray. Jared taking any card from his use pile there. I expect that will not be the only character coming down. Charlie finally finishes drawing on the left side, putting a card down with Like My Father Before Me. So we may see the eponymous Trooper drop this turn. Here's John playing a tactical support. He's going to get 3 Troopers from reserve deck. Well, that was the only character that came down for Jared on the right side, so looks like he's just going to spread out a little bit. He's got Ray with Lord Santeca and the Villager. I did say eponymous. Is that right? Did I use it wrong? So Ray, Lord Santeca, and the Trooper, the Villager, at the Outpost Shipyard, and then Rose and Hobby at the Starship Graveyard. Dan's going to move U3PO in front of that so he can't train for 2. John grabbed, I saw Stormtrooper Patrol and Davin Felth. The third one is a cadet. So 14 force activated for John, 17 total to work with here. That's enough for Vader and some troopers. Or Sidious and some troopers, or in this case Dooku and some troopers. So Dooku comes down, Thrown Back comes out. Thrown Back the new shield. That's at the end of turn, so it didn't matter anyway. Vader comes down. That's interesting. That's a lot of force for Dark Jedi Masters and not a lot of force for troopers. Dan taking his turn on the right side, activating 8 force, is going to Shadows Ping. Jared going to lose and keep your eyes open. He's going to try to drain for 1 at the encampment, but that's going to get It's-a-hitted. On the left side, we have various things coming down. Dooku, Vader, Emperor's Enforcer, Admiral Ozzel, a cadet, another cadet, a Stormtrooper Patrol for 3 force. My guess is Davin Felth is going to come down for 1 force. On the right side, Mara came down to the sewer, but no battle or anything. Dan's going to spread out a little bit, try to block some drains and get some drains in himself. There is that Davin Felth on the left side. So 26 power. There's a Premier Stormtrooper. It's not one you see every day. So 28 power now. And then Dooku is probably going to be the target of a Dark Jedi Presence. So that's what? 28 minus 5. 28 minus 6. So 22. He's going to add 22 more power to that. It's going to be 50. On the right side, Jared playing a Jedi Lev to get Anakin Skywalker back. Jedi Lev, another card that changed recently. You no longer need to retrieve. You just pay 4 force to get a character into hand. On the left side, we have our big battle here. Sergeant Wallen deploying for free. Dark Jedi presence, but no Trooper Assault, so that's unfortunate. So up to 56 power. My chair keeps sinking. Very slightly. Carl, I've got my sheets here. I don't even think it was that many. I think it was only 9 pages for me. And that includes a whole bunch of AIs. So 9 pages of cutting out. That's like 9 days worth of cutting. It's like the 9 days of Christmas, except not as fun. Alright, so in that battle, looks like each player drew a 1 for Battle Destiny, which is just great. The Stormtrooper Cadet covers, naturally. Yoda satisfies 7, and then Hujik satisfies 43. So that's pretty good. Hujik's earning its spot on the left side here. On the right side, what have we done here on Jared's turn? We have Drain for 1 at the system, where Dan lost a barrier. Drew a card with Rey. Tried to look at the reserve deck, but there was nothing in there. It was 3-1-3, according to Dan. Down comes Anakin. Down comes Finn with the sweet AI. So that's what, up to 13 power here. Even if he draws a 1, it would become a 3, so that's 16 power to 3. And Probot forfeits for 5. Drew the 3, so that's going to be a 5, so that's going to be 18. Dan gets a Destiny, it's a 5, so it's going to be 8. So a difference of 10, and Probot forfeits for 5. Oh, a difference of 12 because of the subtraction from the objective. Probot forfeits for 5, so he's going to have to cover 7. On the left side, Charlie's draining for 2. John losing They Must Never Again Leave the City and Yasain Azard. On the right side, Dan was able to Gick. My wife is calling me, so hang on one second. Alright, so while I was gone, it looks like Dan has run out of cards. He drew up. Looks like Jared's going to win that game by 16. I'm going to put that in here, and then I actually am going to have to sign off now for the time being. So thank you guys for joining me. The last 2 games of the Champions League are about to be played, so hopefully maybe somebody's around to pick them up. Otherwise, feel free to watch them on your own. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed watching the stream and the Champions League in general, and I will see you guys next time.